Hey everybody, want to see how we build an insane self-sustaining vivarium complete with a waterfall? Stay tuned. Today we are making a bioactive vivarium for a white tree frog. These chunky little guys are adorable with a big personality and make amazing pets. A client reached out hoping to commission one, so we're super excited to make it.
We're going to use an Exo Terra 18x18x24 for this build. Step 1, blacking out the tank. We taped off the edges and hit the sides with 3 coats of Plasti-Dip, waiting 30 minutes between each. Plasti-Dip gives it a clean and professional look, and unlike paint, it peels right off if you ever need to redo it. You can find Plasti-Dip and all our other materials linked in the description below.
Next, it's time to make the waterfall. We didn't have any foam board pieces big enough to make the entire waterfall compartment in one go, but we're big on sustainability, reuse, reduce, recycle, so we measured and cut out some of our leftover pieces to size. We made sure to measure the compartment to be large enough for a hand to fit in, so the client can easily do maintenance if needed. We score the foam with an X-Acto knife, then snap it along the cut to create a fold. To cut it fully, we would score both sides along the same line. We taped a few pieces together to make a compartment that could run the full height of the vivarium, then poked a hole about 2/3 of the way up for the waterfall.
Next, we place the aquarium pump in the back right corner. The compartment we just made goes around the pump, separating it from the rest of the tank. This will stop the frog from accessing it. We cut a small rectangular hole at the bottom where water can get in, which we'll cover with a sponge later to filter out debris. We drew the aquarium tubing out through the hole we poked and then cut it off. We placed a 90-degree angle joint in the tubing to direct the flow straight downwards. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this thing actually works.
Now we're ready for hardscape. We're scaping this tank upright, so we're going to need to bring in some boxes and things for removable supports. We wanted to create a lot of horizontal space for the white tree frog to climb over, so we are going to position a lot of the driftwood to create platforms, starting with one huge piece. Now we can start siliconing. We siliconed the waterfall compartment to the wall and used some large amounts to keep this wood in place. We sprinkled cork bark flats and other small driftwood pieces around the tank. We use dabs of hot glue to keep them in place temporarily while the silicone cures. We want all the various platforms we're creating to connect so the frogs can easily access them all.
Time for spray foam. We're using black pond and stone expanding foam. To make platforms that are kind of floating, you can stuff gaps with paper towels and then spray the foam on top. Then, when it cures, you can just rip the paper towels away. The spray foam is really what's going to secure all our hardscape in place, so once it cures, we can finally remove our supports. Exo Terra tanks come with an artificial foam background that's all textured. A fun hack for some different textures and saving foam is reusing that. We break off pieces of that background and glue them in place, then spray foam around them.
And here is the fully foamed background. We're going to carve it away and take it from shiny to matte and rocky. We're slicing it with an X-Acto knife, then peeling the pieces away with our finger. It looks so much better after a few hours of carving. The waterfall fills up this little pool before running down to the ground. We're ready to add a drainage layer. We like to use sponge for our drainage layer because it's lightweight and has a ton of surface area for beneficial bacteria. It also doesn't let the substrate fall into the drainage layer, so you don't need anything separating them. The sponge sheets we order come vacuum sealed and can take forever to expand, so we like to steam them to speed up the process.
We cut our sponge layer to the correct size and removed a corner from the area for the waterfall and then put it in the tank. Now we can silicone and cocoa fiber the walls. We're using black aquarium safe silicone applied liberally to all the visible spray foam. We smeared it on with our gloves to get it into every nook and cranny. Then we scooped cocoa fiber and pressed it into the wet silicone. We want to give all the walls a nice and earthy look. And just like magic, the tank is looking so good. We can move on to planting.
We tried to select large and sturdy plants since white tree frogs are rather chunky and could trample more delicate plants. So we're using prayer plants, snake plants, pothos, and some others. First, we added a large prayer plant in the background and a smaller piece in the front left. We put some spare driftwood down in between to build up some height in the background substrate and provide some more visual interest. We added a snake plant in the front right near the waterfall and some pothos in the back left, and a peperomia near the front. We sprinkled some bromeliads around the driftwood. We secured them in place with super glue. These epiphytic plants need some water in their cups to survive. Finally, we added some moss to the horizontal surfaces and walls and pinned them in place with toothpicks. Okay, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Time for the grand reveal.
We're super happy with this tank. It's got a lot of depth and shadow, which always makes the tank look big and mysterious. Here it is a few weeks later. Some of the plants are still adjusting, but they're all surviving well. The waterfall runs out into the elevated pool, which waters a lot of the moss and then flows down some of these sticks to meet the ground in a few different areas. It waters the plants, flows through the substrate, and into the drainage later. All these plants are sturdy and should hold up well to the frog's trampling. We got it packaged up and delivered to the client and her frog, and they have been super happy with it.
What do you guys think? Would you live in this vivarium if you were a frog? Drop a frog emoji in the comments if you made it this far. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got even more builds coming up next. If you're in or near the San Francisco Bay Area and would like to commission a tank, you can find our email in the description.
All right, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.
Bye.